the complete Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the glorious song of God.
Bhagavad Gita Chapter 1. Arjuna Vishada Yoga, the Yoga of Arjuna's despondency. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, on the sacred field of Kurukshetra, where my sons and the sons of Pandu gathered, eager to fight, what did they do? Sanjaya replied, O king, after seeing the army of the Pandavas drawn up in battle formation, King Duryodhana approached his teacher Drona and spoke. O teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, skillfully arranged by your disciple, the son of Drupada. In their ranks are heroic bowmen, equal to Bhima and Arjuna in battle, such as Yuyudhana, Virata, and the mighty Drupada. There are also great warriors like Dhrishtaketu, Chekitana, the valiant king of Kashi, Purujit, Kuntibhoja, and Shaibya. The mighty Yudhamanyu, the powerful Uttamaja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi, all are great chariot warriors. O best of Brahmins, now hear about the distinguished leaders on our side. I will name the commanders of my army for your information. There are you, Drona, and Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, victorious in battle, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somdatta. Many other heroes, ready to give their lives for me, are armed with various weapons, all skilled in warfare. Our army, protected by Bhishma, is invincible, while their army, guarded by Bhima, is easily conquerable. Therefore, all of you, stationed in your respective positions, must protect Bhishma from all sides. To inspire Duryodhana, the mighty Bhishma, grandsire of the Kurus, blew his conch loudly, like the roar of a lion. Then, conches, kettle drums, tabors, horns, and trumpets blared forth, creating a tremendous sound. On the other side, Lord Krishna and Arjuna, seated in a splendid chariot drawn by white horses, blew their divine conches. Krishna blew his conch, Panchajanya, and Arjuna blew Devdatta. Bhima, of mighty deeds, blew his great conch, Pondra. King Yudhishthir, son of Kumti, blew Anantavijaya, while Nakula and Sahdev blew Sughosha and Manipushpaka. The king of Kashi, a great archer, Shikhandi, the mighty warrior, Dhrishtadyumna, Virata, and the unconquered Satyaki, Drupad, the sons of Draupadi, and the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their conches, O king. The tremendous sound echoed through heaven and earth, shattering the hearts of Dhritarashtra's sons. Then, seeing the sons of Dhritarashtra arrayed, as the clash of arms was about to begin, Arjuna, son of Pandu, took up his bow and spoke to Krishna. O Lord of the earth, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so I may see those who stand ready to fight, those I must face in this great battle. Let me behold those gathered here, eager to fight for the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Sanjay continued, O king, thus addressed by Arjuna, Krishna positioned the splendid chariot between the two armies. In front of Bhishma, Drona, and all the kings, Krishna said, O Arjuna, behold the Kurus assembled here. There, Arjuna saw fathers, grandfathers, teachers, uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, fathers-in-law, and well-wishers in both armies. Seeing all these kinsmen, Arjuna was overcome with grief and spoke. O Krishna, seeing my own people, ready to fight, my limbs tremble and my mouth is dry. My body quakes, my hair stands on end, my bow, Gandiva, slips from my hand, and my skin burns. I cannot stand steady, my mind is reeling. I see omens of evil, O Krishna. I see no good in killing my own kin in battle. I desire neither victory, nor kingdom, nor pleasures, O Krishna. Of what use are kingdoms, pleasures, or even life itself, when those we fight for are standing before us? Teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other kinsmen stand here. Even if they seek to kill me, I have no desire to slay them, not even for the sovereignty of the three worlds, let alone this earth. What joy could come from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Sin alone would cling to us for such an act. We cannot justly kill our own kinsmen, the sons of Dhritarashtra. How could we find happiness by slaying our own people, O Krishna? Though they, blinded by greed, see no wrong in destroying family or in harming friends, why should we, who see the evil of destroying a family, not turn away from this sin? With the destruction of a family, its ancient traditions perish, and when traditions perish, lawlessness overtakes the family. When lawlessness prevails, O Krishna, the women of the family become corrupted, and from this comes the mixing of castes. The mixing of castes leads the family and its destroyers to hell, for their ancestors fall, deprived of offerings of rice and water. By these misdeeds of the family's destroyers, causing the mixing of castes, eternal family traditions and caste duties are ruined. Those whose family traditions are destroyed, O Krishna, dwell in hell for an indefinite time, as we have heard. Alas, what a great sin we have resolved to commit, striving for kingdom's pleasures by killing our own kin. If the sons of Dhritarashtra, with weapons in hand, should slay me in battle, unarmed and unresisting, that would be better for me. Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 2. Sankhya Yoga, the Yoga of Knowledge. Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna depressed and full of emotions, with eyes full of tears, Krishna, the destroyer of the demon Madhu, spoke the following words. My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They do not lead to higher planets, but to shame and infamy. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, killer of enemies, in battle, how can I counterattack men like Bhishma and Drona with arrows when they are worthy of my worship? It is better to live in this world by begging, than to live at the cost of the lives of these great souls who are my teachers. Even though they desire worldly gains, they are my superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. I do not know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we killed the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet, they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of my miserable weakness. In this condition I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best. Now I am your disciple, and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me, O Supreme Personality of God. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. At that time, Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. O descendant of Bharata, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise mourn neither for the living nor for the dead. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. As the soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul simply transfers into another body at death. Therefore, a sober person should not be surprised by such a change. O son of Kunti, the appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress are like passing clouds. Just like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons, temporary and impermanent. They arise from your sense perception, and you must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. O best among men, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and grief and remains steady in both, is certainly eligible for liberation. Those who see the truth have concluded that the non-existent does not last forever, and the forever eternal does not change. You should know, the immortal soul which pervades the entire body is indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. However, the material body, which hosts the indestructible living soul, is sure to come to an end. Therefore, O descendant of Bharata, you must fight. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He is unborn, endless, ever-existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is unborn and unkillable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? As a person puts on new clothes, giving up old dirty ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can neither be burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. If, however, you think that the soul will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to complain, O mighty-armed Arjuna. One who has been born is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take births again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not complain, nor grieve. All created beings are invisible before their inception, manifesting in their interim state, then becoming invisible again when annihilated. So what need is there to grieve? Some look at the soul as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand the soul at all. O descendant of Bharata, the soul who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore you need not grieve for any living being. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya warrior, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation. O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsolicited, opening for them the doors to the heavenly planets. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. People will always speak of your failure, and for a respectable person, that disgrace is worse than death. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear, and thus consider you insignificant. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and insult your abilities. What could be more painful for you, O son of Kunti? Either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavens, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Fight for the sake of fighting without considering loss or gain, happiness or sorrow, victory or defeat. By so doing, you shall never incur sin. Thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it, in terms of working without seeking reward-driven results. Let me explain the path of wisdom, the path of selfless action. O son of Pritha, when you act with this knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. When you let go of selfish desires and act without attachment to results, you find true freedom. This is called yoga, union with the eternal. It is not about chasing rewards or avoiding pain. It's about doing your duty with a clear mind. Beloved child of the Kurus, those who lack purpose wander aimlessly, chasing fleeting desires. People who cling to desires get trapped in a cycle of wanting more, but the wise rise above it. Their minds are calm like a lake without ripples. In this endeavor there is no loss or failure, and a little advancement on this path can protect you from the most dangerous type of fear and bring you to freedom. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is focused and clear. Keep all undesirable activities far distant by engaging in devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the scriptures, the Vedas, which recommend engaging in various works for elevation to heavenly planets resulting in good birth, power, and so on. These desirous people say there is nothing more than obtaining an opulent life, pleasures, and gratification of the senses. Thus, they cannot find the focus needed for true spiritual freedom. As a result, the resolute determination required for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. The Vedas deal with the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. These are the three modes of material nature focused on material goals of Prakriti, but you must rise above that, Arjuna. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. Move beyond the dualities of loss and gain, pleasure and pain, and be free from all anxieties. Embrace the truth, and remain centered in the soul, the Atman. This is called yoga, union with the eternal. A wise person sees the scriptures like a well of water surrounded by a flooded land. The wisdom of the scriptures are useful, but not the ultimate truth when an abundance of wisdom already surrounds you. As a Kshatriya warrior, your dharma is to fight this just war. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of those actions. Never consider yourself as the cause of the results of your activities. At the same time, never succumb to idleness by avoiding your duty. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries. When your intelligence has cleared the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas and when it remains fixed in the dharma of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. When you let go of selfish desires and act without attachment to results, you find true freedom. Arjuna asked, O Krishna, what is the description of a man who is steady in wisdom, whose mind is merged in contemplation? What does he look like? How does such a person speak, and what is his language? How does he sit, and how does he walk? Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a person lets go of desires, content in the Atman alone, their wisdom is steady. They are unmoved by misery or joy, free from attachment, fear, and anger. The senses pull the mind outwards, but the wise restrains them. Even while living in the sensual world, they control their senses, fixing their heart only on me, the Supreme. Their mind is like a tortoise, withdrawing from the senses. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. While contemplating objects of the senses, a person develops attachments for them, and from such attachments, lust develops. From lust arises anger. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion comes the bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered and disoriented, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material trap. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. How can there be any happiness without peace? But one who masters the senses, free from likes and dislikes, finds peace. In that peace, all sorrows vanish, and the mind rests in clarity. Without discipline, there's no peace. Without peace, there is no joy. A mind led by the senses is like a ship tossed by stormy waves. But the one whose senses are controlled, whose mind is fixed on the Atman, knows true wisdom. What is night for the ignorant is day for the wise, and what is day for the ignorant is night for the enlightened. Like rivers merging into the ocean, desires enter the wise without disturbing their peace. This is the state of one who attains Brahman, free from desire, finding joy within, rooted in the Atman. Such a person knows peace and merges into the divine, even in this life. Therefore, O mighty armed Arjuna, this is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which, a man is not bewildered. If one is situated thus, then even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. Arjuna listened, his heart stirring, as Krishna's words illuminate the path ahead. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 3. Karma Yoga, the Yoga of Action. Arjuna said, O Krishna, if you consider knowledge superior to action, then why do you urge me to engage in this terrible act? With these seemingly contradictory words, you bewilder my intelligence. Please tell me definitely the one path by which I may attain the highest good. The Supreme Lord Krishna replied, O sinless Arjuna, I have previously explained that there are two paths leading to enlightenment and realization of the self. In this world, I have prescribed two paths, the yoga of action for those inclined to action, and the yoga of knowledge for those inclined to contemplation. No one can attain freedom from karmic reactions simply by abstaining from work, nor can anyone achieve perfection by mere physical renunciation. There is no one who can remain without action even for a moment, since everyone is compelled to act by the very qualities born of material nature. Those who physically restrain the external organs of action, but in their mind continue to dwell on sense objects, are certainly deluding themselves and are to be called hypocrites. But those karma yogis who control their senses through the mind, and engage in selfless actions of karma yoga without any attachments are far superior. Therefore, perform your prescribed duties, since action is better than inaction. Even the maintenance of your body cannot be accomplished without action. In this material world, work causes bondage, unless these works are sacrifices performed in honor of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your duties without being attached to results. In the beginning, the god Prajapati created human beings along with duties and said, by these yajna sacrifices, you shall prosper. Let this be the cow that fulfills your desires. Nourish the gods with this, and may the gods nourish you. May you please the gods, and may they please you in return, thus attaining the highest good through mutual harmony between humans and the celestial gods. Pleased by your sacrifices, the gods will grant you all your desired enjoyments. But those who enjoy these gifts without making offerings in return are called thieves. The spiritually minded who eat food that is first offered to God in prayer and sacrifice are released from all kinds of sin. However, others, who cook food only for their own pleasure and enjoyment, eat only sin. All living beings subsist on food, and food is produced by rains. Rains come from the performance of sacrifice, and sacrifice is produced by the performance of prescribed duties. The duties for human beings are described in the Vedas, and the Vedas are manifested by God Himself. Therefore, the all-pervading Supreme Lord is eternally present in acts of sacrifice. O Partha, those who do not follow this cycle of sacrifice are living in sin, indulging in senses for personal pleasure. Indeed, their lives are in vain, O Arjuna. But they, who rejoice in the Atman are illumined. For those who are satisfied and content within the eternal self, there is no duty. Such self-realized souls have nothing to gain or lose either in discharging or renouncing their duties. Nor do they need to depend on any other living beings to fulfill their self-interest. Therefore, always perform your duties without attachment, because by working without the fruits of attachment, one attains the Supreme. By performing their prescribed duties, King Janaka and others attained perfection. Likewise, you should perform your duties to set an example for the good of the world. Whatever actions great persons perform, common people follow. Whatever standards they set, the rest of the world pursues. For me, there is nothing to achieve in all the three worlds, nor do I have anything to gain nor attain. Yet, I am engaged in prescribed duties. For if I do not perform the prescribed duties tirelessly, O Parth, people would follow my example and neglect their duties. If I cease to act, these worlds would fall into ruin. I would be responsible for the pandemonium, and would thereby cause the destruction of the human race. Just as the ignorant are attached to their work and attached to the results, the wise should act without attachment, in order to lead the people to the right path and for the welfare of the world. The wise should not unsettle the minds of the ignorant who are attached to action by inducing them to stop their work. Instead, the wise should guide the unwise to perform their prescribed duties with selfless devotion. All actions are performed by the three gunas, namely Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. These are the three qualities of material nature. One who is in ignorance and deluded by the ego thinks, I am the doer. This is false identification with the body. Those who understand the distinction between the soul and the qualities of nature know that it is only the gunas that interact among the gunas, and thus the illumined person does not get entangled in them. The unwise person who dwells in ignorance is bewildered by nature's qualities and is attached to actions and rewards. But the wise, who know these truths, should not disturb nor unsettle such delusional people, who know very little. Perform all works as an offering unto me. Constantly meditate on me as the Supreme and be free from desire and selfishness. And thus, with your mental grief departed, do your duty and fight. Those with profound faith, who abide by these teachings of mine, are free from envy and are released from the bondage of karma. But those who find fault with my teachings are lacking in knowledge and devoid of intellectual discrimination. They who disregard these principles bring about their own confusion and ruin. Even wise people act according to their own nature, because all beings follow their own tendencies. What will restraining these tendencies achieve? These tendencies should be sublimated by shifting the goal from worldly enjoyment to God realization, and performing our prescribed duty without attachment or aversion to the service of God. The senses are naturally drawn to sense objects. Therefore, one should command the senses, instead of being commanded by them, for these are obstacles on the path. It is far better to perform one's natural prescribed duty, even though they may be tinged with faults, than to perform another's prescribed duty perfectly. In fact, it is preferable to die in the discharge of one's duty than to follow the path of another, which is filled with danger. Arjuna asked, My Lord, why is a person impelled to commit sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if by force? What is the cause, O descendant of Vrishni? The Supreme Lord Krishna said, It is lust alone. This lustful desire is born of the nature of passion, which eventually manifests as anger. Know this desire to be the sinful all-devouring adversary in this world. As fire is shrouded by smoke, a mirror covered by layers of dust, or an embryo concealed by the womb, knowledge similarly gets obscured by desire. The knowledge of even the most discerning gets covered by this perpetual enemy in the form of insatiable desire, which is never satisfied and burns like fire, O son of Kunti. Desire resides in the senses, the mind, and the intellect. It deludes the soul and destroys knowledge and realization. Therefore, O best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, bring the senses under control and slay the enemy called desire, which is the embodiment of sin and destroys knowledge and realization. The senses are superior to the body, and superior to the senses is the mind. Superior to the mind is the intellect, and superior to the intellect is the soul. Thus, knowing the soul to be superior to the material intellect, O mighty armed Arjuna, control your senses by restraining your mind and refining your intellect. Subdue the lower self with the higher self. Harness the strength of the soul, and kill this formidable enemy called lust, O son of Pritha. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 4. Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. The Yoga of Knowledge and the discipline of action. The Supreme Lord said, I taught this imperishable yoga to Vivasvan, the sun god. Vivasvan then passed it to Manu, the father of mankind. Manu in turn taught it to Ikshvaku. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciple succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in the course of time, the succession was broken, and the science as it is, appears to have been lost. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today being told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and therefore can understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivasvan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that you instructed this science to him in the beginning? The Supreme Lord Krishna said, you and I have both passed many births. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Though I am unborn, imperishable, and the Lord of all beings, I manifest myself through my own divine energy, using my material nature as the medium. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in spiritual devotion and a predominant rise of irreligion, O descendant of Bharata, at that time I descend myself to deliver the faithful and to annihilate the evil transgressors, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear, time after time, millennium after millennium. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take birth again in this material world but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. By being freed from attachment, fear and anger, by being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified through knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. In whatever way people surrender unto me, I reciprocate with them accordingly. In all respects, everyone follows my path, O son of Pritha. In this world, people who desire material benefits like wealth and power worship the lesser demigods because material benefits is what the lesser gods can give. These activities bring immediate results in the material world, yet these fruits of action are limited and temporary. The four categories of occupations were created by me, in accordance to the three modes of material nature, the work associated with them, and according to people's different qualities and actions, respectively called guna and karma. Although I am the creator of this system, know me to be the non-doer, who remains unchanged and eternal. There is no work that affects me, nor do I have any longing for the fruits of actions. One who knows me in this way is never bound by the karmic reactions of work, nor expectation of their rewards. Therefore, you should perform your duty, and follow in the footsteps of all those liberated souls from ancient times who acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining the difference between action and inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, which will free you from all misfortune. The nuances and intricacies of action are very difficult to understand. Therefore, one should properly distinguish the difference between action from forbidden action, and realizing the real nature of inaction, which includes the non-performance of prohibited actions. One who sees action in inaction, and inaction in action, is a wise man. A yogi and master of action, who, whilst engaged in all sorts of activities, remains in the transcendental state. Those whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification is understood to be one in full knowledge. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Abandoning all attachments to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, giving up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acting only for the bare necessities of life. He who is free from attachments has a mind established in knowledge, and performs duties as an act of sacrifice, is released from the bondage of karmic reactions. Such a person, whose actions begin and end in the Supreme, merge entirely into transcendence. To the person who is fully absorbed in God consciousness, the entire sacrifice is Brahman. The clarified butter used in the offering is Brahman. The ladle used to offer ghee is also Brahman. Likewise, the sacrificial fire is Brahman, and the person making the offering and the act of offering itself are all Brahman. Those persons who view everything as God and see God in everything easily attain Him by this sacrifice. Some yogis worship the demigods with material offerings, while others, having realized the self, offer the self as sacrifice in the fire of Brahman alone. Some offer hearing and the other sense organs in the sacrifice of restraint, while others offer sounds and the objects perceived by the senses in the sacrifice of the senses. Illumined by knowledge, those who are interested in self-realization sacrifice all the functions of the senses and the functions of the vital energy and vital breath in the yoga of self-control. Some offer their wealth as sacrifice, while others offer severe austerities. Some practice the eightfold path of yogic discipline, and yet others study the scriptures and cultivate knowledge as sacrifice, while observing strict adherence. Still others offer the outgoing breath in the incoming breath as sacrifice, while some offer the incoming breath into the outgoing breath. Some arduously practice pranayama and restrain the incoming and outgoing breaths, purely absorbed in the regulation of the life energy. Others who restrain their food intake offer life breaths in life breaths. All these are knowers of sacrifice, whose sins are destroyed by sacrifice. O best of the Kurus, without sacrifice, one can never find happiness in this world or the next. All these different types of sacrifice are approved by the Vedas, and all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. The sacrifice of knowledge is better than the sacrifice of material possessions, O chastiser of the enemy. After all, O son of Pritha, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. Try to understand this by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion, for by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but parts of the Supreme, and all parts are within me. Even those who are considered the most sinful of all sinners can cross over this ocean of material existence by seating themselves in this boat of divine transcendental knowledge. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes the collection of endless karmas, accumulated from beginningless times. In this world, there is nothing as purifying as divine knowledge. One who has attained purity of mind through dedicated practice of yoga receives such knowledge within the heart in due course of time. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. And having achieved it, he quickly attains the highest spiritual peace. But the foolish and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. Instead, they will perish and suffer downfall. For the doubting soul, there is no happiness to be found in this world nor in the next. One who has renounced the fruits of his action has all doubts destroyed by transcendental knowledge. One who is situated firmly in the self is not bound by works, O conqueror of riches. Therefore, using the sword of knowledge, cut asunder the doubts that have arisen in your heart. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 5. Karma Sannyasa Yoga, the Yoga of Renunciation. Arjuna said, O Krishna, you praise the renunciation of action. Likewise you approve the yoga of action. Please tell me decisively which is the better of the two. The Supreme Lord said, both renunciation and the yoga of action lead to the ultimate goal. but of the two, the yoga of action is superior to the renunciation of action. One who is free from hatred, who desires nothing, and who has renounced both dualities is easily liberated from bondage through renunciation, O mighty armed one. Only the ignorant say that the practice of devotional service and the path of knowledge are different. The wise know that both lead to the same result. One who is properly established in one gets the fruits of both. The supreme state reached by the knowers of truth through divine knowledge is also attained by yogis through divine action. One who sees the path of knowledge and path of action as one and the same truly sees. Without performing work in devotional service, perfect renunciation is difficult to attain, O mighty armed Arjuna. But a meditative person engaged in the devotional service of karma yoga can achieve the supreme without delay. Having renounced the fruits of action, one who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man finds peace and is never entangled. A person in the state of divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, and breathing, knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all, knowing that it is only the senses moving among the sense objects and that he stands apart from them. One who acts without attachment, offering all actions to Brahman, is not affected by sin, just as a lotus leaf remains unaffected by water. Yogis give up worldly attachments and perform actions with their body, mind, intellect, and senses, only for the purification of their souls. The person who is disciplined in yoga, rendering service unto me without attachment to the fruits of action, attains perfect peace. But he who is driven by his own sense enjoyment is attached to the fruit, led by desire, and becomes bound and entangled. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions and expectation of rewards, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates and is no longer controlled by the material body, neither performing actions nor causing them to be performed. The omnipresent Lord does not partake in anyone's sinful actions or righteous deeds. All embodied beings, however, are bewildered, because their knowledge is covered by ignorance. But those whose ignorance is destroyed by true knowledge of self become illumined, and the supreme reality is revealed to them just as the sun casts its light on everything in the daytime. Those whose minds are fixed on that Brahman, whose selves are devoted to that spiritual realization, whose foundation is that, and who are absorbed in that supreme consciousness, and who have cleansed all their impurities through divine knowledge, go to a state where there is no return, their sins washed away. The truly enlightened with eyes of divine knowledge see everything with equal vision, perceiving the same divine essence in a scholar as with a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eating outcast. Brahman is the sole, supreme reality, flawless and equal in all. The truly learned, therefore, are established in Brahman. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, neither desires nor dwells in sorrow, who is steady and knows Brahman, is thus established in Brahman. A person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant nor is distressed upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is unbewildered and non-delusional, and who knows the science of God, is already established in transcendence of Brahman. The self, unattached to material sense pleasure, is always united with Brahman through yoga, thus enjoying unlimited happiness within. An intelligent person stays away from the sources of misery, which arise from pleasures brought by the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise do not rejoice nor delight in them. Before giving up this present body, if one is able to restrain the urges of the material senses and reject the force of desire and anger, then he is well situated and is happy in this world. One whose happiness is within, whose joy is within, whose light is within, that yogi, being one with Brahman, is the perfect mystic, attaining true union with the Supreme. Those sages who are beyond dualities, whose doubts are resolved, who are self-controlled, and who delight in the welfare of all beings are free from sin and attain the freedom of Brahman. For those disciplined persons who are free from anger, who have controlled desire, who have mastered their minds, and who know the self, see Brahman present everywhere and attain nirvana in this very life. Shutting out all external contact of the senses, fixing the gaze between the eyebrows, equalizing the inward and outward breaths moving through the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses and intelligence, the transcendent sage who is devoted to liberation and who has cast away desire, fear, and anger, is forever free. Knowing me as the enjoyer of sacrifices and austerities, the great Lord of all worlds, and the friend of all living beings, one attains peace from the affliction of material misery. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 6. Jnana Yoga, the Yoga of Meditation. The Supreme Lord said, "Those who perform prescribed duties without desiring the results of their actions are true sannyasis, renunciates and yogis, not those who have merely ceased performing sacrifices such as Agnihotra Yajna or abandoned bodily activities. O Arjuna, know that what is called sannyasa is the same as yoga, for no one can become a yogi without giving up desire. For the sage aspiring to ascend to yoga, selfless action is said to be the means, and to the sage who is already elevated in yogarudha, tranquility in meditation is said to be the means. When one has given up attachments to sense objects and actions, such a person is said to be elevated in the science of yoga, having renounced all material desires. Elevate yourself through the power of your mind, and do not degrade yourself, for the mind can be a friend or a foe to the self. For him who has conquered the mind, it is his best friend, but for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain his greatest enemy. The yogi who has subdued the mind and is tranquil, whose supreme self is absorbed in the divine, remains unaffected by cold and heat, pleasure and pain, and honor and dishonor. A yogi who is satisfied with knowledge and wisdom, who remains unshaken and unfazed, who has conquered the senses, and to whom a piece of earth, a stone, and gold are the same, is said to be yukta and established in yoga. The yogi who has equal regard towards well-wishers, friends, enemies, the indifferent, the neutral, the hateful, family members, saints, and sinners, is a distinguished and superior yogi. A yogi should constantly practice meditation, living alone in a secluded place, with the mind and body under control, free from desires and attachments to material possessions. To practice yoga, one should go to a sacred, secluded place and should lay kusha grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should be neither too high nor too low. Seated there, practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling the mind, subduing the senses and fixing the mind on one point. Holding the body, head, and neck upright, even and immovable, steady, looking at the tip of the nose, not looking in other directions. Thus, with a subdued, unagitated mind, devoid of fear, established in the vow of celibacy and completely free from sensual engagements, one should meditate upon me within the heart. Make me your ultimate aim and sit united with me. Thus, always engaging the self in yoga, the yogi with a disciplined mind attains the supreme peace of liberation which resides in me. Yoga is not for one who eats too much or abstains from eating, nor for one who sleeps too much or too little, O Arjuna. For those who are moderate in eating and recreation, balanced in work, regulated in sleeping and waking, yoga becomes the eliminator of all suffering and the destroyer of sorrows. By practice of yoga, the yogi who disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence devoid of all material desires, is said to be well established in yoga. As a lamp sheltered from the breeze does not flicker, so is the disciplined mind of the yogi practicing meditation. The mind, unsteady and wandering, must be restrained and brought under the control of the self. In that state, one experiences supreme bliss, perceived by the intellect, beyond sensory objects, and is undisturbed by sorrow. Having attained this, no greater gain is conceived. Established in it, one is not shaken by the heaviest sorrow. This is yoga, defined as disconnection from suffering. It must be practiced with resolute determination. Renounce all desires which arise from the imagination, restrain the senses from distractions coming from all sides with the mind alone. Little by little, through patience and repeated effort, the mind will become stilled in the self. Gradually withdrawing the mind with a resolute intellect, making it rest in the self, one should not think of anything else. Wherever the fickle and restless mind wanders, from there it should be brought back and restrained under the control of the self alone. The yogi who has calmed his mind, subdued his passions, and has become one with Brahman, attains supreme bliss and is free from impurities. Thus the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. A yogi who is united in consciousness with the Supreme, sees the self dwelling in all beings and all beings in the self, seeing the same everywhere. He who sees me everywhere, and sees all things in me, is never separated from me, nor do I become separated from him. He who is established in oneness, and renders worshipful service unto me who dwells in all beings, abides in me in all states of life. Those who see with equality everything, in the image of their own self, O Arjuna, whether it is pleasure or pain, are considered the highest yogis. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, I do not see how this yoga of equanimity, which you have described, can be achieved because the mind is so restless. The mind is unsteady, turbulent, stubborn, and very strong, O Krishna. It appears to me that it is more difficult to control than the wind. There is no doubt, O mighty armed one, that the mind is restless and difficult to control, but it can be restrained, O son of Kunti, by practice, abhyasa, and detachment, vairagya. Yoga is unattainable for one whose mind is not subdued, but it is attainable for one who has subdued the mind through constant striving and proper means. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the destination of a person who begins the path of yoga with faith, but due to an unsteady mind, deviates from it and does not attain perfection in yoga? Having failed in both yoga and worldly life, does not one, O mighty armed, perish like a fragmented cloud, without support, deluded on the path of Brahman? O Krishna, please completely dispel this doubt of mine, for there is no one else who can resolve this doubt except you. The Supreme Lord said, O Partha, there is no destruction for such a person either in this world or the next. My dear friend, one who strives for spiritual good and performs auspicious acts never meets an evil end. Having attained the realms of the virtuous, and living in righteous abodes for many years, the yogi who falls from the path of yoga is reborn in a pure and prosperous family. Or else, if they had developed dispassion due to long practice of yoga, they are born into a family of yogis rich in wisdom. Verily, such a birth is hard to gain in this world. There, he comes in touch with the knowledge acquired in his previous body, O son of the Kurus, and strives still further for perfection. Indeed, they feel drawn toward God, even against their will, on the strength of their past discipline. Such seekers naturally rise above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. Practicing diligently, the yogi having acquired perfection through many births attains liberation, attaining the supreme state moksha, purified of all sins. O Arjuna, the yogi is thought to be greater than the ascetic, greater than the learned, and greater than the man of action. Therefore, be a yogi. Even among yogis, he who worships me with a fixed mind, full of faith, is deemed by me to be the most devout. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 7. Jnana Vijnana Yoga, the Yoga of Knowledge and Wisdom. The Supreme Lord said, with your mind attached to me, O Partha, hear how you will know me completely, without any doubt by practicing yoga and taking refuge in me. I shall now reveal to you this knowledge in full, along with its realization, knowing which nothing else remains to be known in this world. Among thousands of people, one may strive for perfection, and of those who strive and achieve perfection, hardly one knows me in reality. The blessed Lord said, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and the notion of the self called ego are the 8 divisions of my manifested material nature. This is my lower nature, but know that my higher nature, O mighty armed one, is called Jiva, the conscious life force by which the universe is sustained. Know that all beings originate from these 2 natures of mine. I am the source of the entire creation as well as its dissolution. There is nothing higher than me, O Dhananjaya. All of this is woven upon me, like pearls threaded on a string. I am the taste in water, O son of Kunti. I am the radiance in the sun and the moon. I am the sacred syllable Om in all the Vedas. I am the sound in ether, and I am the virility and manhood in men. I am the sacred fragrance in earth, the brilliance in fire, the life in all beings, and the austerity in those who practice penance. Know me, O Partha, as the eternal seed of all beings. I am the intelligence of the intelligent and the brilliance of the brilliant. I am the strength of the strong, which is free from passion and desire. I am that desire in beings that is in accordance with the principles of dharma, O best of the Bhartas. All states of being, sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic, originate from me, but I am not in them. They are within me. Deluded by the 3 modes of material nature, the people in this world are unable to know me, for I am transcendental to these modes, immutable and imperishable. This divine illusion of mine, made of the 3 gunas, is difficult to overcome. Only those who take refuge in me alone cross beyond it. The evildoers, foolish and ignorant, are the lowest of human beings. They, whose knowledge has been deluded by the illusion of Maya, and who have a demonic nature, do not take refuge in me. O Arjuna, best of the Bhartas, 4 kinds of virtuous people engage in worship of me. The distressed, the seekers of wealth, the seekers of knowledge, and the wise. Of them, the wise one, who is ever united with me and devoted to me alone, excels. For I am very dear to the enlightened, and he is very dear to me. All these are noble indeed, but I consider the jnani to be my very self. For, with his mind fixed on me, he is established in me, the supreme goal. At the end of many births, the person who has attained the highest knowledge surrenders to me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and realizing Vasudeva is all. Rare indeed is such a high-souled person. Those whose knowledge has been carried away by various material desires being prompted by their own nature, surrender to the devas, the demigods, and worship other deities, adopting various rituals. Whichever form a devotee wishes to worship with faith, I stabilize the faith of that particular devotee in that very form. But the fruit gained by these people of little intelligence is finite and perishable. Those who worship the celestial demigods, go to those demigods. But my devotees, come to me. Foolish and ignorant people, unaware of my supreme, imperishable, and unsurpassed nature, think of me, the unmanifest, as having assumed a manifest form. I am not revealed to everyone, being veiled by my divine power of illusion called Yogamaya. Hence, the ignorant Muddha do not know me as the unborn and eternal. O Arjuna, I know the past, present, and future of all beings, but no one knows me. O Bharata, all beings, misled by the dualities arising from like and dislike, are subject to illusion, ignorance, and sinful tendencies. But those persons of virtuous deeds, whose sins have come to an end, they, being free from the delusion of duality, worship me with firm resolve. Those who strive for liberation from old age and death, who take refuge in me, know Brahman, the Self, and the whole of karma. Those who know me as the Lord of all creation, gods, and sacrifices, with their minds integrated through unwavering devotion, are in full consciousness of me, even at the time of mortal passing. Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 8. Akshara Brahma Yoga. The Yoga of the Imperishable Absolute. Arjuna said, "What is Brahman? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma, O Supreme Person? What is termed Adhibhuta, and what is called Adhideva? Who is Adhyagya here? And how is he in this body, O Madhusudana? How are you known at the time of death by the self-disciplined?" The blessed Lord said, "Brahman is the imperishable Supreme. One's individualized soul is Adhyatma, the individual self. The creative act that brings beings into existence is called Karma. Adhibhuta is the perishable nature of material existence. Adhideva is the divine cosmic spirit Purusha. Adhyagya is I myself, the Lord of sacrifice, residing in this body, O best of the embodied. Whoever, at the time of death, leaves the body while remembering me alone attains my divine nature. There is no doubt about this. Whatever thought or object one thinks of when leaving the body at the end, that very state one attains, O son of Kunti, due to being always absorbed in that thought. Therefore, remember me at all times, perform your duty and fight. With your mind and intellect surrendered to me, you will surely attain me, without doubt. With the mind disciplined by constant practice of yoga and not wandering elsewhere, one who meditates on the Supreme Divine Personality attains him, O Partha. He who meditates on the Knower, the Ancient, the Ruler, subtler than the subtlest, the Sustainer of all, of inconceivable form, radiant like the sun, beyond all darkness, attains him. At the time of death, with an unwavering mind, filled with devotion and by the power of yoga, one who fixes the life breath perfectly between the eyebrows attains the Supreme Divine Person. That which the knowers of the Vedas call the imperishable, into which the dispassionate ascetics enter, desiring which, they practice a life of celibacy called brahmacharya, that supreme state I shall briefly declare to you. Having restrained all the senses, fixing the mind in the heart, and placing the vital force at the crown of the head, one is established in the concentration of yoga. While meditating on me, he who utters the single syllable, Om, the symbol of Brahman, and leaves the body, attains the supreme goal. For one who constantly remembers me without deviation, O Partha, I am easily attainable, for that yogi is ever united with me. Having reached me, the great souls do not return to rebirth in this temporary world of suffering, for they have attained the ultimate, supreme perfection. From the highest world of Brahma, down to the lowest, O Arjuna, all worlds are subject to return. But for those who attain me, O son of Kunti, there is no rebirth. They who know that the day of Brahma lasts 1,000 yugas and that the night of Brahma also lasts 1,000 yugas are the knowers of day and night. At the dawn of Brahma's day, all living beings emanate from the unmanifest state, and at the coming of Brahma's night, they dissolve and merge back into that state called the unmanifest. The same multitude of beings, having come into being again and again, dissolves at the coming of night, O Partha, and comes into being again at the coming of day, helplessly without freedom, under the compulsion of cosmic order. Yet, beyond this unmanifest state, there is another eternal, unmanifest reality which does not perish, even when all beings perish. That which is described as unmanifest and imperishable is said to be the supreme destination. Those who attain it never return. That is my supreme abode. The Supreme Purusha, O Partha, in whom all beings abide and by whom all this is pervaded, is attainable only by unwavering devotion. O best of the Bhartas, I shall now explain to you the times when yogis who have departed attain either freedom from rebirth or return to birth. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world in the influence of fire, in the light of daytime, during the bright fortnight of the waxing moon, and during the 6 months of the northern solstice. Smoke, night, the dark fortnight, and the 6 months of the southern solstice, the yogi who passes away by this path attains the light of the moon and returns. These two paths of the world, the bright and the dark, are deemed eternal. By the bright path, a person goes to non-return achieving liberation, and by the dark, they return again to samsara. Knowing these two paths, O Arjuna, the yogi is never deluded. Therefore, at all times, be established in yoga. The yogi who understands this secret surpasses all the rewards promised in the Vedas for scriptural study, sacrifices, austerities, and charity, and reaches the supreme primeval state of God realization, the highest eternal destination. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 9. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga, the yoga of the kingly science and royal secret. The blessed Lord said, "To you, who are free from malice, I shall now reveal this most profound secret, knowledge combined with direct experience, by knowing which, you will be liberated from all evil. This is the kingly science, and the most confidential of secrets. It is pure, supremely holy, directly perceivable, in accordance with dharma, easy to practice, and imperishable. People without faith in this sacred path fail to reach me, and are swept back into the endless ocean of death and rebirth, O Arjuna. All of creation is pervaded by me, in my unmanifest form. All living beings dwell in me, yet I am not contained in them. And yet, the living beings do not abide in me. Behold the mystery of my divine energy. Although I am the creator and sustainer of all living beings, I do not dwell in them, for myself is the very source of creation. As the mighty wind moves freely within the sky but never affects it, so too all beings dwell in me, yet I remain untouched and unaffected by them. All this universe is pervaded by me, all beings rest in me. At the end of a kalpa, all living beings merge into my primordial material energy, and at the beginning of a new cycle, I project them forth again. Using my prakriti, I repeatedly create and destroy the entire multitude of beings, who are powerless, under the sway of their material nature. Nor do these acts bind me, O Arjuna, for I am seated as neutral, unattached, and indifferent to those actions. O son of Kunti, under my direction, Prakriti, the primordial material nature, brings forth all moving and non-moving entities, and by its rule, the world is set in motion. Those who are rooted in delusion, established in demonic tendencies, without faith, unrighteous, and lacking discrimination, as well as those who perform pious deeds only for selfish desires and for the sake of those fruits, these deluded souls do not reach me, O Arjuna. How then can they reach anything else without devotion? But the great-souled men, O Partha, who are endowed with the divine nature, worship me with undisturbed minds, knowing that I am immutable and the origin of all beings. Always singing my divine glories, striving with great determination, and humbly bowing down before me, they constantly worship me in loving devotion. Others, engaging in the sacrifice of cultivating knowledge, worship me in various ways. Some see me as undifferentiated oneness that is non-different from them, while others see me as separate from them. Still others worship me in the infinite manifestations of my universal cosmic form. I am the ritual kratu, I am the yajna sacrifice, I am the offering svadha, I am the medicinal herb aushadha, I am the mantra, I myself am the clarified butter, I am the fire, and I am hutam, the act of offering. I am the father, mother, creator, and grandsire of the universe. I am that which is to be known, the purifier, the sacred syllable Om, and also the Rig, Sama, and Yajur Vedas. I am the supreme goal of all living beings, and I am also their sustainer, master, witness, abode, shelter, and friend. I am the origin, the end, and resting place of creation. I am the storehouse and the imperishable seed. As the sun, I radiate heat. I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality and also death. I am both existence and non-existence, O Arjuna. Those who are proficient in the three Vedas, who drink the Soma juice, and are purified of their sins, worship me with sacrifices and pray for passage to heaven. They reach the pious realm of Indra and enjoy the celestial pleasures of the gods in heaven. When they have enjoyed the vast pleasures of heaven, the stock of their merits being exhausted, they return to the mortal earthly plane. Those who follow the Vedic rituals, desiring objects of enjoyment, attain the cycle of birth and death. For those with single-minded devotion, who think of me and worship me exclusively, always absorbed in me, I personally ensure their welfare by providing what they lack and preserving what they have. Even those devotees who faithfully worship other gods also worship me alone, O son of Kunti, but in a way that is not in accordance with the prescribed scriptural rules. I am indeed the enjoyer, and the only Lord of all sacrifices, the indwelling ruler of all. But they do not know me in essence, and hence, they return and fall back to this mortal world. Worshippers of the celestial gods take birth amongst the celestial gods, worshippers of the ancestors go to the ancestors, worshippers of ghosts take birth amongst such beings, and my devotees come to me alone. Whoever offers to me with devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, that offering from one who is pure in mind, I accept. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer in sacrifice, whatever you give in charity, whatever austerity you perform, O son of Kunti, offer it to me. By offering all actions to me, you will be freed from the bondage of good and bad results. With your mind united in the yoga of renunciation, you will be liberated and attain me. I am the same towards all beings. To me, there is neither friend nor foe. But those who worship me with full devotion are in me, and I am also in them. Even if the most sinful worships me single-mindedly, with devotion to none else, he too should indeed be regarded as saintly, for he has rightly resolved. Quickly he becomes a righteous soul and attains everlasting peace. O son of Kunti, proclaim boldly that my devotee never perishes. Whosoever takes refuge in me, whatever their birth, race, gender, or caste, even those whom society scorns, will attain the supreme destination. How much more then, the holy Brahmins and devoted royal saints? Having entered this impermanent, miserable, and sorrowful world, do thou worship me. Always think of me, be devoted to me, worship me, and offer obeisance to me. Having dedicated your mind and body to me, you will surely attain me. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 10. Vibhuti Yoga, the Yoga of Divine Glories. The Blessed Lord said, "Listen to my supreme teaching again, O mighty armed one, which I, desiring your welfare, will declare to you, who delight in hearing me. Neither the hosts of gods nor the great sages know my origin, for I am, in every way, the source of the gods and the great sages. Those who know me as unborn and beginningless, and as the supreme Lord of the universe, they among mortals are free from delusion and liberated from all sins. Intelligence, knowledge, clarity of thought, forgiveness, truthfulness, control over the senses and mind, joy and sorrow, birth and death, fear and courage. Non-violence, equanimity, contentment, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy, these diverse qualities of beings originate from me alone. The 7 great sages, and the 4 ancient Manus before them, endowed with my power, were born of my mind, and from them have come forth all these creatures in the world. One who truly understands my transcendental glories and powers engages in my devotion with unwavering yoga. There is no doubt about this. I am the source of all, from me everything emanates. Understanding this, the wise, filled with realization, worship me. With their minds fixed on me, their lives surrendered to me, enlightening one another and constantly speaking of me, they find contentment and rejoice. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I grant the yoga of discernment by which they attain me. Out of compassion for them, I, residing in their hearts, destroy the darkness born of ignorance with the radiant lamp of knowledge. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Abode, the most pure, the Supreme Being, the eternal Divine Person, the primordial God, unborn and all-pervading. All the sages proclaim you as the Supreme, as do the divine sage Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, and you yourself indeed declare this to me. I accept everything you say to me as truth, O Keshava. Indeed, neither the gods nor the demons fully comprehend your manifested form, O Lord. Indeed, you yourself know yourself by yourself, O Supreme Person, Creator of beings, Lord of beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Please tell me completely about your divine glories, by which you pervade all these worlds and exist in them. How shall I know you, O Supreme Yogi, by constant meditation? And in what various forms are you to be contemplated by me, O blessed Lord? Describe in detail your yoga and divine glories, O Janardana. Indeed, I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Very well. I shall tell you of my divine glories, O best of the Kurus, but only those that are prominent, for there is no end to the extent of my glories. I am the Self, O Gudakesha, existing in the heart of all beings. I am the beginning and the middle, as well as the end of all beings. Among the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Among luminaries, I am the radiant sun. Among the Maruts, I am Marichi. Among the stars, I am the moon. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the gods, I am Vasava. Of the senses, I am the mind. And of beings, I am consciousness. Of the Rudras, I am Shankar. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am Kubera. Of the Vasus, I am Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru. Of priests, know me to be the chief, Brihaspati O Partha. Of generals, I am Skanda. Of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of words, I am the one-syllable Om. Of sacrifices, I am the sacrifice of Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Among all trees, I am the banyan tree. Among divine sages, Narada. Among Gandharvas, Chitraratha, and among perfected beings, the sage Kapila. Of horses, know me to be the nectar-born Uchashravas. Of elephants, Airavata, and among humans, the king. Among weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the wish-fulfilling cow Kamadhenu. Of causes for procreation, I am Kandarpa, the god of love. And among serpents, I am Vasuki. Among the Nagas, I am Ananta. And of the water deities, I am Varuna. Among the ancestors, I am Aryama. And among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death. Among the demons, I am Pralada. Among those who calculate, I am time. Among animals, I am the lion, and among birds, I am the eagle Garuda. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of weapon wielders, I am Rama. Of aquatic creatures, I am the crocodile. And of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Of creations, I am the beginning, the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Among sciences, I am the science of the self. Among those who debate, I am logic, the reasoning, the dialectic. Among letters, I am the letter A. Among compounds, I am the dual compound. Indeed, I am the imperishable time, and I am the creator, facing everywhere. I am all-devouring death, and I am the origin of all things to come. Among feminine qualities, I am fame, prosperity, speech, memory, intelligence, fortitude, and forgiveness. Of the hymns of the Samaveda, I am the Brihat Sama. Of the poetic meters, I am the Gayatri. Of the months, I am Margashirsha. Of the seasons, I am the spring. I am gambling among the deceitful. I am the splendor of the splendid. I am victory. I am determination. I am the goodness of the virtuous. Of the Vishnis, I am Vasudeva. Of the Pandavas, I am Dhananjaya Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa. And of the seers, I am Shukaracharya. I am the punishing rod of those who chastise. I am the morality of those who desire victory. I am the silence of secrets, and I am the knowledge of the wise. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all living beings. No creature, moving or non-moving, can exist without me. There is no end to my divine manifestations, O scorcher of foes. This detailed account of my glories has been spoken by me as an indication. Whatever being is endowed with glory, prosperity, or power, know that it arises from a mere fraction of my splendor. But what is the use of this detailed knowledge to you, O Arjuna? I exist, supporting this whole world by a single fraction of myself. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 11. Vishvarupa Darshana Yoga, the Yoga of the Vision of the Cosmic Form. Arjuna said, by the supremely confidential spiritual knowledge you have revealed out of compassion for me, my delusion has now been dispelled. Indeed, I have heard in detail from you, O lotus-eyed one, about the origin and dissolution of beings, as well as your imperishable glory. It is as you have described yourself, O Supreme Lord. I desire to see your divine form. If you think it can be seen by me, then, O Lord of Yoga, please show me your imperishable self. The blessed Lord said, behold, O Partha, my forms, by hundreds and thousands of different kinds, divine, and of various colors and shapes. Behold the Adityas, the Vasus, the Rudras, the two Ashwinis, and the Maruts, and behold many wonders never seen before, O Bharata. Here, in one place, behold the entire universe, with all moving and unmoving beings, in my cosmic form, O Gudakesha, along with anything else you desire to see. But you cannot see me with your own eyes. I grant you divine vision. Behold my divine yoga. Sanjaya said, having thus spoken, O king, the great Lord of Yoga revealed his supreme divine form to Partha. With numerous mouths and eyes, countless marvelous forms, many divine ornaments and many divine weapons raised. Wearing divine garlands and apparel, anointed with divine fragrances, the all-wonderful God, infinite, with faces in all directions. If the radiance of 1,000 suns were to blaze forth simultaneously in the sky, that might resemble the splendor of that great-souled one. There, in the body of the God of gods, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, then beheld the entire universe, with its multifarious divisions, all resting in the one. Then, filled with amazement, his hairs standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to the Lord, joined his palms in salutation, and spoke. Arjuna said, O Lord, I behold within your body all the gods and hosts of different beings, Lord Brahma seated on the lotus, all the sages, and the divine serpents. I behold you with manifold arms, bellies, and faces, infinite in form on all sides. I see no end, no middle, nor beginning of you, O universal form. I see you, adorned with a crown, wielding a mace and discus, a mass of radiance shining on all sides, difficult to behold, with the brilliance of blazing fire and sun all around, immeasurable. You are the imperishable, the supreme to be known. You are the ultimate refuge of this universe. You are the protector of the eternal Dharma. I regard you as the eternal supreme person. I behold you as without beginning, middle, or end, possessing infinite power, with countless arms, the sun and moon as your eyes, and your mouth blazing like the sacrificial fire, scorching the entire universe with your radiance. Indeed, the entire space between heaven and earth in all directions is pervaded by you alone. Seeing your wondrous and fearsome form, O great-souled one, the three worlds are trembling with fear. Indeed, hosts of gods enter into you, some in fear, praise you with joint palms. The hosts of great sages and perfected ones, saying, may it be well, praise you with abundant hymns. The Rudras, Adityas, Vasus, and Sadhyas, the Vishvadevas, the two Ashvinis, and the Maruts, the departed ancestors, and the hosts of Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras, and Siddhas, all behold you, filled with amazement. Having seen your great form, with many mouths and eyes, O mighty-armed, with many arms, thighs, and feet, with many bellies, and terrible with many teeth, the worlds are trembling, and so am I. On seeing you touching the sky, shining in many colors, with mouths wide open, with large fiery eyes, I am terrified at heart, and I find neither courage nor peace, O Vishnu. Seeing your mouths, fearful with fangs, blazing like the fires of cosmic dissolution, I have lost all sense of direction and find no comfort. Be merciful, O Lord of gods, O abode of the universe. And these sons of Dhritarashtra, all together with the hosts of kings, Bhishma, Drona, Karna as well, along with our chief warriors also, all these beings are rushing into your frightful mouths, armed with terrible fangs. Some are seen stuck between your teeth, their heads crushed to powder. As many waves of the rivers flow towards the ocean, so do these heroes of the human world rush into your fiercely blazing mouths. As moths rush into a blazing fire for their destruction, so too do these beings enter your blazing mouths for their destruction. You are licking, devouring all the worlds entirely from all sides with your blazing mouths. Your fierce splendors, filling the whole world, are scorching, O Vishnu. Tell me who you are, fierce in form. Salutation to you, O Supreme Deity, be gracious. I desire to know you, the Primal One, for I do not understand your nature and actions. The blessed Lord said, I am time, the destroyer of the worlds, fully manifest, engaged here in annihilating all beings. Even without you, all the warriors stationed in the opposing armies will not survive. Therefore, stand up and acquire fame. Conquer the enemies and enjoy a prosperous kingdom, O skillful archer. All these warriors have already been killed by me. Be merely an instrument, O Savyasachin. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and other brave warriors, these have already been slain by me. You merely strike them down. Do not be distressed. Fight, and you will conquer your enemies in battle. Sanjay said, having heard these words of Keshava, Arjuna, the crowned one, trembling, with joined palms, bowing down, spoke again to Krishna with a faltering voice, deeply frightened. Arjuna said, rightly, O Hrishikesha, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. The demons, filled with fear, flee in all directions, and all the hosts of perfected beings offer obeisance to you. Why should they not bow to you, O great-souled one? You, who are even greater than Brahma, the primal creator. O infinite one, Lord of gods, abode of the universe, you are the imperishable, the existent, the non-existent, and that which is beyond both. You are the supreme primordial God and the most ancient person. You are the ultimate refuge of this universe. You are the knower, the object of knowledge, and the supreme abode. O Lord of infinite forms, the entire universe is pervaded by you. Salutations to you 1,000 times, and again, salutations to you. Obeisance to you from the front, from behind, and from all directions. O all-powerful Lord, with infinite strength and immeasurable prowess, you pervade everything, and thus you are everything. Whatever I have rashly said from carelessness or love, addressing you as O Krishna, O Yadava, O friend, not knowing your greatness, whatever I have spoken disrespectfully, for jest, in sport, while resting, sitting, or dining, either alone or in others' company, O infallible one, I beg forgiveness for that from you, who are infinite. You are the Father of this world, of moving and non-moving beings. You are its revered and most venerable teacher. There is none equal to you. How then could there be another greater in the three worlds? Therefore, bowing down and prostrating my body before you, I seek your grace, O adorable Lord. As a father forgives his son, a friend his friend, or a lover his beloved, please, O God, forgive me. Having seen your universal form, which I have never seen before, my heart is delighted with wonder, and yet my mind trembles with fear. Please, O Lord, show me your merciful form, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. I wish to see you, adorned with a crown, holding a mace and discus, as before, in that very four-armed form, O thousand-armed one, O universal form. The blessed Lord said, out of my grace, O Arjuna, I have shown you this supreme form through my own divine power, radiant, universal, infinite, and primordial, which no one but you has ever seen before. Not through the study of the Vedas, sacrifices, charities, rituals, or severe austerities can this form of mine be seen in the world of men by anyone other than you, O hero of the Kurus. Do not be afraid nor be bewildered by seeing this terrible form of mine. Be free from fear and with a joyful mind, behold again this gentle form of mine. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus to Arjuna, Sri Krishna revealed his gentle form again. And, assuming his charming form, the great-souled one comforted the terrified Arjuna. Arjuna said, having seen this gentle human form of yours, O Janardana, I am now composed, with my mind restored, returned to my normal state. The blessed Lord said, this form of mine that you have seen is very difficult to behold. Even the gods are always desirous of seeing this form. Not through the study of the Vedas, nor by austerities, nor by charity, nor by sacrifices can I be seen in this cosmic form as you have seen, but by single-minded devotion, O Arjuna, can I, of this form, be known and seen in reality and also entered into, O scorcher of enemies. He who performs actions for me, regards me as the supreme goal, is devoted to me, free from attachment, and without enmity toward all beings, he attains me, O Pandava. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 12. Bhakti Yoga, the Yoga of Devotion. Arjuna said, between those who are steadfastly devoted to your personal form, and those who worship the formless Brahman, who among them is more perfect in the practice of yoga? The blessed Lord said, those who, fixing their minds on me, worship me, ever devoted and endowed with supreme faith, they are considered by me to be the most integrated. But those who worship the imperishable, indefinable, unmanifest, all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, immovable, and eternal, having restrained all the senses, being even-minded in all conditions, and engaged in the welfare of all beings, they attain me indeed. Greater is their trouble whose minds are set on the unmanifested, for the goal of the unmanifested is very difficult for the embodied to reach. But those who surrender all actions to me, devoted to me, meditating on me with single-minded yoga, worship me. Of those whose minds are set on me, O Partha, I become, without delay, the deliverer from the ocean of the cycle of birth and death. Fix your mind on me alone and surrender your intellect to me. Thereafter, you will surely reside in me, without doubt. If you are unable to fix your mind steadily upon me, then seek to attain me, O Arjuna, by the yoga of constant practice. If you are unable to practice the yoga of constant practice, be devoted to performing actions for my sake. By working for me, you will attain perfection. If you are unable to do even this, then, taking refuge in my yoga, with a controlled mind, renounce the fruits of all actions. Knowledge is better than mere ritualistic practice, meditation is better than knowledge, renunciation of the fruits of actions is better than meditation, for peace immediately follows such renunciation. He who has no hatred for any being, who is friendly and compassionate, who is free from attachment and egoism, who is the same in pain and pleasure and forgiving, contented always, the yogi, self-controlled, firm in conviction, with mind and intellect dedicated to me, he, my devotee, is dear to me. He who does not disturb the world, nor is disturbed by the world, and who is free from joy, anger, fear, and anxiety, that person is dear to me. My devotee who is free from expectations, pure, skillful, impartial, free from anxiety, and who has renounced all undertakings, is dear to me. He who neither rejoices, nor hates, nor grieves, nor desires, who abandons both good and evil, and is full of devotion, that person is dear to me. He who is equal toward friend and enemy, in honor and dishonor, in cold and heat, pleasure and pain, and free from attachment, one who is silent and content with anything, who has no attachment to a home, whose mind is steady, and who is full of devotion, that person is dear to me. Those who devotedly practice this immortal teaching of righteous dharma as described, with faith and holding me as the supreme, those devotees are exceedingly dear to me. Bhagavad Gita chapter 13. Kshetra Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the distinction between the field and the knower of the field. Arjuna said, O Keshava, I desire to know about Prakriti and Purusha, the field and the knower of the field. I also wish to know about true knowledge and the object of this knowledge. The Supreme Lord said, This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field. He who knows this body is called by those who are enlightened as the knower of the field. Know me to be the knower of the field in all fields, O Bharata. The knowledge of the field and its knower is considered by me as true knowledge. Listen to me briefly about the field, its nature, modifications, and origin, as well as the knower and his powers. It has been sung in many ways by the sages distinctly in various Vedic hymns, and is also in the well-reasoned and definitive words of the Brahma Sutras. The five great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses and the mind, the 5 sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms and convictions, all these comprise the field and its modifications. Humbleness, freedom from hypocrisy, non-violence, forgiveness, simplicity, service to the Guru, cleanliness of body and mind, steadfastness and self-control, dispassion toward the objects of the senses, absence of egotism, keeping in mind the evils of birth, disease, old age, and death. Non-attachment, absence of clinging to spouse, children, home, and so on. Even-mindedness amidst pleasant and unpleasant events in life, constant and exclusive devotion toward me, an inclination for solitary places and an aversion for mundane society and general masses of people, constancy in spiritual knowledge and self-realization, and philosophical pursuit of the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge. What is contrary to it, I call ignorance. I shall now reveal to you that which ought to be known, and by knowing which, one attains immortality. It is the beginningless Brahman, which lies beyond existence and non-existence. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the Supersoul exists, for he pervades everything in the universe. He perceives all sense objects, yet he is devoid of the senses. He is unattached to everything, and yet, he is the sustainer of all. Although he is without attributes, he is the enjoyer of the 3 modes of material nature. He exists outside and inside all living beings, both moving and non-moving. He is subtle, beyond the power of the material senses to see or to know. Yet, although far away, he is also very near to all. Although the Supersoul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. Know the Supreme Entity to be the sustainer, annihilator, and creator of all beings. He is the source of light in all luminous objects, and is entirely beyond the darkness of ignorance. He is knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the goal of knowledge. He dwells within the hearts of all living beings. Thus I have revealed to you the nature of the field, the meaning of knowledge, and the object of knowledge. Only my devotees can understand this in reality, and by doing so, they attain my divine nature. Know that both Prakriti, the material nature, and Purusha, the individual souls, are beginningless. Also know that all transformations and the 3 gunas arise from Prakriti. In the matter of creation, the material energy of Prakriti is responsible for cause and effect, whereas, in the matter of experiencing happiness and distress, the individual soul is declared responsible. When the individual soul seated in the material energy desires to enjoy the three gunas, attachment to the fundamental qualities of nature becomes the cause of its birth in superior and inferior wombs. Within the body also resides the Supreme Lord. He is known to be the witness, the permitter, the supporter, transcendental enjoyer, the ultimate controller, and the Supreme Soul, Paramatma. Thus, he who knows Purusha and Prakriti, together with the qualities, in whatever condition he may be, is not born again. Some see the self in the self, by the self, through meditation. Others through Sankhya, the yoga of knowledge, and others through Karma Yoga. Others, not knowing these paths, worship by hearing from others. They too, devoted to hearing, transcend death. Whenever any being is born, regardless whether they are moving or non-moving, know that to be from the union of the field and the knower of the field, O best of Bharatas. He who sees the Supreme Lord equally in all beings, and who understands that neither the soul nor the supersoul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. Those who see the Supreme Lord equally present everywhere, in every being, does not harm nor degrade themselves by their mind, and thus reach the supreme destination. They alone truly see, who understand that all actions of the body are performed by material nature, while the embodied soul actually does nothing. When he sees the separate existence of all beings resting in the One, and their expansion from that alone, then he attains Brahman. Being beginningless and without qualities, this Supreme Self is imperishable, though in the body, O Arjuna, it neither acts nor is tainted. As all-pervading space is not tainted due to its subtlety, so the Self, present everywhere in the body, is not tainted. As one sun illuminates the entire world, so, the knower of the field illuminates the entire field, O Bharata. Those who know thus, the distinction between the field and the knower of the field through the eye of wisdom, and the liberation from the Prakriti of beings, they attain the Supreme. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 14. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the Yoga of the classification of the three gunas. The Divine Lord said, I shall once again explain to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, by knowing which, all the sages have attained the highest perfection. Those who take refuge in this knowledge attain my nature and are not born at the time of creation nor do they suffer at the time of dissolution. The total material substance, Prakriti, is the womb. And it is that Prakriti which I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings. Of all embodied beings in all species of life, O son of Kunti, the total material substance is the womb, and I am the seed-giving father. O mighty-armed Arjuna, the material energy consists of three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. These modes bind the eternal soul to the perishable body. Among these, Sattva, being pure, is illuminating and free from evil, O sinless one. It binds the soul by creating attachment for a sense of happiness and knowledge. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. Tamas, which is born of ignorance, is the cause of illusion for the embodied souls, O Arjuna. It deludes all living beings through negligence, laziness, and sleep. Sattva binds one to material happiness, Rajas conditions the soul toward actions, and Tamas clouds wisdom and binds one to delusion. O descendant of Bharata, sometimes goodness overpowers passion and ignorance, sometimes the mode of passion overpowers goodness and ignorance, and other times ignorance overpowers goodness and passion. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. When the mode of passion predominates, O Arjuna, the symptoms of greed, exertion for worldly gain, restlessness, and craving develop. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested. When one dies predominant in Sattva, one attains the pure, immaculate worlds of the great high sages. Those who die with prevalence of Rajas are born among people driven by work. Similarly, when one departs immersed in Tamas, he is born in the wombs of the ignorant or animal species. It is said the fruit of actions performed in the mode of goodness bestow pure results. Actions done in the mode of passion result in pain, while those performed in the mode of ignorance result in darkness. From the mode of goodness arises real knowledge. From the mode of passion arises greed. And from the mode of ignorance arise negligence and delusion. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. When wise persons see that in all work there is no agent of action other than the three gunas, and they know me to be transcendental to these modes, they attain my divine nature. Having transcended these three modes of material nature, the embodied soul is freed from birth, death, old age, and their associated miseries, and attains immortality. Arjuna inquired, "What are the characteristics of those who have gone beyond the three modes of material nature, O Lord? How do they act? How do they go beyond the bondage of the gunas?" The Supreme Personality said, "The persons who are transcendental to the three gunas neither hate illumination, nor activity, nor even delusion when these are present, nor do they long for them when they are absent, O Arjuna. They remain neutral to the modes of nature and are not disturbed by them. Knowing it is only the gunas that act, they stay established in the self, without wavering. He who is the same in pain and pleasure, established in the self, who sees mud, stone, and gold as equal, steady in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats both friend and enemy alike, and who has renounced all material activities, such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. For I am the basis of the impersonal, immortal, and imperishable Brahman, as well as of the eternal Dharma and the divine unending bliss. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 15. Purushottama Yogaha, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. The Supreme Lord said, "They speak of an imperishable Ashwatha tree with its roots above and branches below. Its leaves are the Vedas, and he who knows it knows the Vedas. Its branches spread upward and downward, nourished by the gunas, with the objects of the senses as their buds. Its clustering roots spread downward in the world of men, causing the flow of karma and giving rise to action. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and their surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead from whom everything began, and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. Free from pride and delusion, having conquered the evil of attachment, ever devoted to the Supreme Self, with desires completely stilled, liberated from the pairs of opposites known as pleasure and pain, the undeluded attain the eternal kingdom. Neither the sun nor the moon, nor fire can illumine that supreme abode of mine. Having gone there, one does not return to this material world again. The embodied souls in this material world are my eternal fragmental parts. But bound by material nature, they are struggling with the six senses including the mind. As the air carries fragrance from place to place, so does the embodied soul carry the mind and senses with it, when it leaves an old body and enters a new one. Using the sense perceptions of the ears, eyes, skin, tongue, and nose, which are grouped around the mind, the embodied soul savors the objects of the senses. The foolish cannot understand how the soul departs from the body, nor what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see the soul's eternal nature. Those who strive, armed with yoga, behold him dwelling within themselves. But the undisciplined and the thoughtless do not perceive him, though they strive. The splendor of the sun, which dispels the darkness of this whole world, comes from me. And the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. Entering the earth, I sustain all beings with my energy, and becoming the sapid moon, I nourish all plants. Having become the Vaishvamra, I abide in the bodies of living beings, and, mingling with the upward and downward breaths, I digest the 4 kinds of food. I am seated in the hearts of all living beings, and from me comes memory, knowledge, as well as forgetfulness. I alone am to be known by all the Vedas. I am the author of Vedanta, and the knower of the meaning of the Vedas. There are 2 kinds of beings in the world, the perishable and the imperishable. All material beings are perishable, and the unchanging is called the imperishable. But distinct from these 2 is another being, the highest supreme self, called the immutable, who pervades and sustains the 3 worlds. Since I surpass the perishable, and am higher even than the imperishable, I am therefore celebrated in the world and in the Vedas as the Supreme Being. He who knows me without doubt as the unborn, the beginningless, Supreme Divine Personality truly have complete knowledge. O Arjuna, they who know serve and worship me with all their being. Thus has this most profound teaching been imparted by me, O sinless one. By knowing it a man becomes wise, attains the perfection of life, and fulfills all that is to be accomplished, O Bharata. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 16. Devasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the distinction between the divine and the demonic natures. The Supreme Divine Personality said, "These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Fearlessness, purity of mind, steadfastness in spiritual knowledge, charity, control of the senses, sacrifice, study of the sacred books, austerity, and straightforwardness, non-violence, truthfulness, absence of anger, renunciation, peacefulness, restraint from fault-finding, compassion toward all living beings, absence of greed, gentleness, modesty, and lack of fickleness, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, bearing enmity toward none, and absence of vanity." O Partha, the qualities of those who possess a demoniac nature are hypocrisy, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. The divine qualities lead to liberation, while the demoniac qualities are the cause for a continuing destiny of bondage. Grieve not, O Arjuna, as you were born with saintly virtues. There are 2 kinds of beings in this world, those endowed with a divine nature and those possessing a demoniac nature. I have described the divine qualities in detail, O Arjuna. Now hear from me about the demoniac nature. Those possessing a demoniac nature do not comprehend which actions are proper and which are improper. Hence, they possess neither purity, nor good conduct, nor even truthfulness. They say the world is devoid of truth, without a moral basis, and without a God. It is created of lust from the combination of the 2 sexes and has no purpose other than sexual gratification. Following such conclusions, the demoniac who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in harmful, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Harboring insatiable lust, full of hypocrisy, pride and arrogance, the demoniac cling to their false tenets. Thus illusioned, they are attracted to the impermanent and are sworn to unclean work. They are attached to endless anxieties that end only with death. Still, they maintain with complete assurance that gratification of desires and accumulation of wealth is the highest purpose of life. Held in bondage by hundreds of desires, and driven by lust and anger, they strive to accumulate wealth by unjust means, all for the gratification of their senses. The demoniac persons think, "I have gained so much wealth today, and I shall now fulfill this desire of mine. This is mine, and tomorrow I shall have even more. That enemy has been destroyed by me, and I shall destroy the others too. I am like God Himself, I am the enjoyer, I am perfect, I am powerful, and I am happy. I am wealthy and I have highly placed relatives. Who else is equal to me? I shall perform sacrifices to the celestial gods, I shall give alms, I shall rejoice." In this way, they are deluded by ignorance. Possessed and led astray by such imaginings, trapped in a web of delusion and addicted to the gratification of sensuous pleasures, they descend to the murkiest hell. Such self-conceited and stubborn people, full of pride and arrogant in their wealth, perform ostentatious sacrifices in name only, with no regard to the rules of the scriptures. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. These cruel and hateful persons, the evildoers and lowest of humankind, I constantly hurl into the wombs of those with similar demoniac natures in the cycle of rebirth in the material world. These ignorant souls take birth again and again in demoniac wombs. Failing to reach me, O Arjuna, they gradually sink to the most abominable type of existence. There are 3 gates leading to the hell of self-destruction for the soul: lust, anger, and greed. Therefore, one should forsake and abandon all 3. Those who are free from the 3 gates to darkness endeavor for the welfare of their soul, and thereby attain the supreme goal. They who reject and abandon scriptural rules and act as they please, attains neither perfection, nor happiness, nor the supreme goal. Therefore, let the scriptures be your standard for determining what should be done and what should not be done. Knowing the scriptural injunctions and teachings, you should act accordingly. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 17. Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga, the Yoga of the threefold division of faith. Arjuna said, O Krishna, where do they stand who disregard the injunctions of the scriptures but still worship with faith? Is their faith in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance? The Supreme Divine Personality said, every human being is born with innate faith which can be of 3 kinds, sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. Now hear about this from me. The faith of all humans conforms to the nature of their mind. All people possess faith, and whatever the nature of their faith, that is verily what they are. Those in Sattva worship the gods, and those in Rajas worship nature spirits, wealth spirits and demons, while those in Tamas worship ghosts and spirits. Some people perform stern austerities that are not enjoined by the scriptures but rather motivated by hypocrisy and egotism. Impelled by desire and attachment, they torment not only the elements of their body, but also I, who dwell within them as the Supreme Soul. Know these senseless people to be fiendish with demonic resolves. Even the food each person prefers is of 3 kinds, according to the 3 modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities and charity. Now hear from me the distinctions between them. Persons in the mode of goodness prefer foods that promote lifespan and increase virtue, strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, succulent, nourishing, delightful and naturally tasteful. Foods that are excessively bitter, sour, salty, scalding hot, pungent, dry, and burning are liked by the people endowed with rajas. Such foods produce pain, grief, and disease. Food that is overcooked, stale, tasteless, putrid, decomposed, impure, and leftover are dear to persons in the mode of ignorance. Sacrifice that is performed according to scriptural injunctions without expectation of rewards, with the firm conviction of the mind that it is a matter of duty, is of the nature of goodness. O best of the Bharatas, know that sacrifices performed for material benefit, or with a hypocritical aim, is in the mode of passion. Sacrifice devoid of faith and contrary to the injunctions of the scriptures, in which no food is offered, no mantras chanted, and no donation made, is to be considered in the mode of ignorance. When worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmans, the spiritual master, the wise, and the elders is done with the observance of cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence, then this worship is declared as the austerity of the body. Words that do not cause distress are truthful, inoffensive, and beneficial, as well as regular recitation of the Vedic scriptures. These are declared as austerity of speech. Serenity of thought, gentleness, silence, self-control, and purity of purpose, these are declared as austerity of the mind. When devout persons with ardent faith practice these threefold austerities without yearning for material rewards, they are designated as austerities in the mode of goodness. Austerity performed with ostentation and hypocrisy for the sake of gaining respect, honor, or admiration is in the mode of passion. Its benefits are unstable and temporary. Austerity that is performed by those with confused notions and which involves torturing the self or harming others is described to be in the mode of ignorance. That gift which is given with the dutiful thought of it ought to be given, without expecting anything in return, at the right time and at the right place to a deserving person, is considered sattvic and in the mode of goodness. But that gift which is given with the expectation of something in return, or with the desire for its fruit, and given reluctantly, is considered rajasic and in the mode of passion. And that charity, which is given at the wrong place and wrong time to unworthy persons, without showing respect, or with contempt, is held to be of the nature of tamas and in the mode of ignorance. The words Om Tat Sat have been declared as symbolic representations of the Supreme Absolute Truth from the beginning of creation. From them came the priests, scriptures, and sacrifice. Therefore, when performing acts of sacrifice, offering charity, or undertaking penance, expounders of the Vedas always begin by uttering Om according to the prescriptions of Vedic injunctions. With the utterance of Tat, the acts of sacrifice, austerity, and various acts of charity are performed by those desiring liberation, without attachment to the fruit. The word Sat means eternal existence and goodness. O son of Pratha, it is also used to describe an auspicious action. Being established in the performance of sacrifice, penance, and charity is also described by the word Sat. And so, any act for such purposes is named Sat. Whatever is offered in sacrifice, given in charity, or performed as austerity without faith, O Partha, is called Asat. They are useless both in this world and the next. Bhagavad Gita Chapter 18. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, the Yoga of Liberation through Renunciation and Surrender. Arjuna said, O mighty armed Krishna, I wish to understand the nature of sannyasa and tyaga. O Hrishikesha, I would also like to know the difference between the two, O slayer of the demon Keshi. The Supreme Lord said, O Arjuna, the sages understand sannyasa as the renunciation of all desireful actions, and the learned declare tyaga as abandoning the fruits of all works. Some contemplative wise men declare that all kinds of actions should be given up as evil, while others maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. Now hear my conclusion on the subject of renunciation, O tiger amongst men, for renunciation has been declared to be of three kinds. Actions based upon sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned, they must certainly be performed. Indeed, acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are purifying even for those who are wise. These activities must be performed without attachment and expectation for rewards. This is my definitive supreme verdict, O Arjuna. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. Such deluded renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such renunciation is never beneficial or elevating. O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty because it ought to be done, and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. Those who neither avoid disagreeable work nor seek agreeable work are persons of true renunciation. They are endowed with the quality of the mode of goodness and have no doubts about the nature of work. For the embodied being, it is impossible to give up activities entirely. But those who relinquish the fruits of their actions are said to be truly renounced. The threefold fruits of actions, pleasant, unpleasant, and mixed, accrue even after death to those who are attached to personal reward. But to those who renounce the fruits of their actions, there are no such results in the here or hereafter. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. The 5 factors of action are as follows: the body, which is the place of action, the doer, the various senses, the many kinds of efforts, and the divine providence of the Supersoul. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by his body, mind or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Therefore one who thinks of himself as the only doer, without considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. Though he kills men in this world, one who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, does not kill, nor is he bound by his actions. The 3 factors that motivate action are knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. The 3 constituents of action are the senses, the work, and the doer. According to the 3 different modes of material nature, there are 3 kinds of knowledge, action, and performers of action. Now hear of them from me. That knowledge by which a person sees one undivided imperishable reality within all diverse living beings, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is a different type of living entity, you should understand to be in the mode of passion. That knowledge is said to be in the mode of ignorance when one clings to one fragmental concept, work or thing as if it were the whole, which is meager and trivial, and which is neither grounded in reason nor based on the truth. Action that is in accordance with the scriptures, free from attachment and aversion, free from hate, and done without desire for rewards, is in the mode of goodness. Action that is prompted by selfish desire, enacted with egotism, and full of stress, is in the nature of passion. That action which is undertaken from delusion, without thought to one's own ability, without regard to the consequence, loss, violence, and injury to others, is declared to be tamasic and in the mode of ignorance. The performer is said to be in the mode of goodness when he or she is free from egotism and attachment, endowed with enthusiasm and determination, and unaffected by success or failure. The performer is considered to be in the mode of passion when he or she craves the fruits of the work, is greedy, envious, violent-natured, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow. The worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose and pessimistic, and procrastinating is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Hear now, O Arjuna, the threefold division of intellect and firm determination according to the 3 qualities of material nature. I will declare it to you fully and distinctly. The intellect is said to be sattvic and in the nature of goodness, O Partha, when it understands the distinction between proper action and improper action, duty and non-duty, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating. O Arjuna, that intellect by which one erroneously understands what is good and evil, what ought to be done and what must not be done, is Rajasic. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance. O son of Pratha, that pure determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, prana and bodily senses is called sattvic in the mode of goodness. The steadfast willpower by which one holds on to duty, pleasures, and wealth, out of attachment and desire for rewards, O Arjuna, is determination in the mode of passion. And that unintelligent determination, which cannot go beyond dreaming, illusion, fearfulness, lamentation, and gloom, O son of Pratha, is in the mode of darkness. Now hear from me, O Arjuna, of the three kinds of happiness in which the embodied soul rejoices, and can even reach the end of all suffering. That happiness, which seems like poison at first, but tastes like nectar in the end, is said to be in the mode of goodness. It is generated by the pure intellect situated in self-realization. Happiness is said to be in the mode of passion, when it is derived from the contact of the senses with their objects. Such happiness is like nectar at first, but poison at the end. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end and which arises from sleep, laziness and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. No living being on earth or the higher celestial abodes of this material realm is free from the influence of these three modes of nature. The duties of the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras are distributed based on their respective nature and gunas. Control of the internal and external organs, austerity, purity, forgiveness, integrity, knowledge of the Shastras, direct experience of the truth, faith in God, Guru and the scriptures are the duties of the Brahmins born of their own nature. Heroism, strength, fortitude, skill in weaponry, resolve never to retreat from battle, large-heartedness in charity, and leadership abilities, these are the natural qualities of work for Kshatriyas. Agriculture, dairy farming, and commerce are the natural works for those with the qualities of Vaishyas. Serving through work is the natural duty for those with the qualities of Shudras. By fulfilling their duties, born of their innate qualities, human beings can attain perfection. Now hear from me how one can become perfect by discharging one's prescribed duties. By performing one's natural occupation, one worships the Creator from whom all living entities have come into being, and by whom the whole universe is pervaded. By such performance of work, a person easily attains perfection. It is better to do one's own dharma, even though imperfectly, than to do another's dharma, even though perfectly. By doing one's innate duties, a person does not incur sin. One should not abandon duties born of one's nature, even if one sees defects in them, O son of Kunti. Indeed, all endeavors are veiled by some evil, as fire is by smoke. Those whose intellect is unattached everywhere, who have mastered the mind, and are free from desires by the practice of renunciation, attain the highest perfection of freedom from action. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind and power of speech, who is always in trance and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state he attains pure devotional service unto me. Only by devotional service can one know me in essence, what I am and who I am. Then having known me in truth, he forthwith enters into me. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost and perish. If, motivated by pride, you think, I shall not fight, your decision will be futile. Your own nature will compel you to fight. That action which out of delusion you do not wish to do, you will be driven to do and act all the same, O son of Kunti, by your own inclination, born of your own material nature. The Supreme Lord dwells in the hearts of all living beings, O Arjuna. According to their karmas, He directs the wanderings of the souls, who are seated on a machine made of material energy. O Arjuna, with your whole being, take refuge in the Lord. By His grace, you will obtain supreme peace and the eternal abode. Thus, I have explained to you this knowledge that is more secret than all secrets. Ponder over it deeply, and then do as you wish. Hear again my supreme instruction, the most confidential of all knowledge. I am revealing this for your benefit because you are very dear to me. Always think of me, be devoted to me, worship me, and offer obeisance to me. Doing so, you will certainly come to me. This is my pledge to you, for you are very dear to me. Abandon all varieties of dharmas, and simply surrender unto me alone. I shall liberate you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. This is never to be spoken by you to one who is devoid of austerity, nor to one who is not devoted, nor to one who does not do service, nor to those who are envious of me. Amongst my devotees, those who teach this most confidential knowledge perform the greatest act of love. They will come to me, without doubt. No human being does more loving service to me than they. Nor shall there ever be anyone on this earth more dear to me. And I proclaim that those who study this sacred dialogue of ours will have worshipped me with their intellect through the sacrifice of knowledge. Such is my view. Even those who only listen to this knowledge, with faith and without envy, will be liberated from sins and attain the auspicious abodes where the pious dwell. O Arjuna, have you heard me with a concentrated mind? Have your ignorance and delusion been destroyed? Arjuna said, O infallible one, by your divine grace, my illusion has been dispelled, and I am situated in knowledge. I am now free from doubts, and I shall act according to your supreme instruction. Sanjaya said, Thus have I heard this wonderful conversation between Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, and Arjuna, the noble-hearted son of Pritha. So thrilling is the message that my hair is standing on end. By the grace of Veda Vyasa, I have heard this supreme and most secret yoga direct from Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, himself declaring it. O King, as I repeatedly recall this wonderful holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure, being thrilled at every moment. O King, as often as I recall that most wonderful cosmic form of the Lord, great is my astonishment, and I rejoice over and over again. Wherever there is Sri Krishna, the Lord of all yoga, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be unending opulence, victory, prosperity, and righteousness. Of this, I am certain.